Alright, yo. I'm back. I don't know how long it's been. I apologize. A lot of stuff has been going on. I know. I graduated high school, going to college, all this nonsense. So that's the reason why. Obviously, still just a bad excuse. Sorry. A lot's been going on with the world and everything. You know, Biden's fucking screwing up everybody. We had the war, Ukrainian war. Obviously, that's died down a little bit. I don't know much, so I'm not gonna comment on it. But with my life, yeah, like I said in my video, I've gone to SCAD, got accepted, got a lot of scholarships. Very grateful about that. Still gotta pay a fuck ton. So we'll see how that goes. Hoping, praying, but I guess one thing is got no women, bro. You know what I'm saying? At least the girl I do like don't like me, and that's always good, you know. But anyways, don't want to start off with a bad note. Actually working on a art piece right now. I know I'm talking super quiet because I'm tired, I guess, but microphone's right there. Hopefully, it catches up, but thought about doing a video with this, but like I thought it'd be like kind of pointless because I'm just kind of sitting here. It's probably better, but I mean, probably do that in the future. Trying to get a job, apply to Walmart, need to buy a laptop, and I really want to buy the Wacom Cintiq 2022. I'm saying 22 because I saw Ethan Becker. That's probably his favorite, and so I was gonna copy him. But other than that, I've been really into working out, trying to get my body together. Got to look sexy, but that's honestly going pretty well. Kind of proud of myself. He's gonna be in there. Let me shut my door. This is killing me. Yeah, but it's more of just I'm doing better with my mental health, I guess. Most of the time, usually, I just freaking have a breakdown on these freaking podcasts. I'm sorry. It's like I don't know why I feel like I'm talking to someone. This is getting sad. I apologize. Anyways, yeah, like I really don't. Well, at least I want to start like watching animes and stuff because like it helps. But like I've just been watching like UFC, MMA stuff and like gym stuff. I want to watch One Piece, Gear 5th Luffy. I actually did an art piece on that. Go check that out on my Instagram. Artwork of SM. It's linked down below, anyways. But I'm really proud of this one. I did Naruto, Luffy, and Ichigo. And then obviously Bleach is coming back. I don't know when. I can't wait freaking for these idiots to see this masterpiece. Because Bleach is probably... Honestly, I do say Bleach is my favorite of the big three. But on it, if I was really being honest, it's probably Naruto. It's definitely not One Piece. I know that. This is going to get him. No, just... Anyways, it's just One Piece is just those fans are a little, and there's a lot of things that people let it get away with, and I'm not like that. So I'ma just my bad, I forget what is it. Got dementia or some shit. Goddamn. There was a I need to start. I'm just hoping I really get this job quickly. But they said they're gonna call me back. I changed my hours and stuff, and hopefully it works out. But after that, I'm gonna do a schedule because I feel like the schedule is honestly for anybody. I would recommend this to anybody. Just write down a schedule. You don't have to like follow it to a T, but it's so helpful. Honestly, I highly recommend it, and especially if you, because like if you're having a bad day or something, you might not feel like doing anything. But if you just try, it doesn't have to be your best effort at doing whatever you need to do, but just getting it done, it really helps out. I know, I guess that can get sort of mundane or a bit robotic, but you can give yourself like like you can have an off day or whatever, but it really helps keeping your mind off of certain things. Like I know I struggle with that a lot, so I try to do that. So I'd say try to get a schedule. Just write down certain things you need to do, and a lot of people already do this, but it's sort of like because I don't meditate. I kind of want to, but it's just too much for me. I just, I'm not ready for that. So I try to do this for now. But let me think. But the topics obviously is Pride Month, so that's pretty lit. Um, I think one time I seen is like it was pretty funny was that people are saying people do like pride walks in like these super liberal cities where most people are not homophobic and gay people and uh, trans and etc. lesbian people are all accepted there most often, like by most of the population. It'd be like it'd be better if you'd like go to like a super conservative area. I don't know, somewhere in Louisiana or maybe like the South or something, and then go there and be like, "Hey, bro, gay pride." I see how like brave you are. It's like one thing I do. It is kind of sad that people try to. I'm not saying gay people. Obviously, gay people have been fighting, forever, and like since the civil rights movement with those people and too. But like these like middle-aged white women who are like some retarded people. Like I'm not trying to also what do you call insult anybody. It's just more like a subset of people who are kind of privileged, but they want to be victims because they don't want to feel like they're an oppressor. It's so funny because like the whole idea of it is like I understand there's certain truths to that, but like you shouldn't think like that because that leads to very, very disastrous consequences. Whether that be the Nazis by race, the Jacobins by social class, the Bolsheviks by their dogma, or religious people, whether that be Christians versus Muslims or Hindus versus Muslims or whatever. It just don't you shouldn't think of, doesn't matter who it is, people as groups, because it's very easy to, what do you say, hurt people when you think like that or dehumanize them. You should always think about each and every single individual as a human being, because otherwise you somehow find a way to justify dropping bombs on 120,000 people in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. You shouldn't think of it as Japanese. You should have it as every single one of those people is a human being. Someone's daughter, someone's father, someone's son, someone's mother, someone's friend. You need to think of it like that. Don't. I think that's really what's key, but I'm not too sure if that gets over on people. But I forgot what I was talking about. I told you, got to mention, right? But hopefully it goes well. Wanna So everybody, have fun with that. I'm gonna try to do an art piece. Usually, I tend to do that based on Pride Month, but this time it's kind of basic. I don't really know what to do, I guess, but I'll figure something out. Right now, I'm working on a piece that's based on quite personal to me, I guess, but a part of the Arc and Human, which is a animated series I'm writing. It's I guess it's an arc about a love story. It's kind of based on my life, but not too much. But hopefully it goes well. One thing I really do miss is freaking, that old days of YouTube where it's like, freaking I'm Dante, Blasphemous HD's the classic. I love that dude. When he was at his prime, Blasphemous HD, honestly, I think was the funniest person on YouTube. This man would say the worst. Like his quotes are probably the greatest quotes I've ever heard. Like this man has Nietzsche beat, in my opinion, in just quotes. I mean, Nietzsche talking about this with fucking stop looking at the abyss. The abyss looks back or some horse shit. But this Blasphemous HD talking about not only Bill Cosby can pill Cosby. Now you tell me which one's more profound. Jordan Peterson would disagree with me, but I think this is deep. You understand? Just like Bill Cosby was. I'm sorry. This is terrible. I need to stop. Anyways, fuck. What do I say, dude? I need to like write some shit down because I just be having a goddamn aneurysm every 5 minutes. Don't know what I'm talking about. This is terrible. There was a. Alright, so you guys know about these. I know it's been kind of blown up right now, but I think most of us pretty much know about this for a while. It's like these alpha males, podcasts and like videos basically, and I was sort of watching them because some of my friends be showing them in like because they do make certain valid points. I think the most effective one was when Andrew Tate talked about how men experience loneliness, and obviously you guys know I'm sort of an advocate for that, especially the sort of tragedy that's going on with Japanese men and just Japan in general. So that's very rough, and I want to, it's definitely a problem we have as a culture, but it's just how so it's not. I guess it has some valid points. I understand that, but these guys are not like Jordan Peterson. You know what I mean? These guys are quite literally very misogynistic and very, very narcissistic to a point. It's kind of funny how narcissistic they are. Like I'm sure you guys seen it. Like the things they be saying. Like like this dude was getting mad that Hollywood has like female characters fighting male characters or something. It's like, bro, you have a problem with that? It's like most Hollywood films are superhero movies. The most popular ones are Marvel movies. Literal, like it's like, oh man, Doctor Manhattan's out here taking over the goddamn universe. Oh, hey, listen. This woman fighting a man. This is not good. You understand? I'm not insecure at all. Why would you ever say that? This is not. I was like, yeah, we know that. That's why we have male and female categories in sports and things. We obviously know there's physiological differences between men and women. It's like, what are you talking about, man? Are you for guys who like talk about their masculinity like 24 hours a day? You seem to have a very fragile one. I mean, like, goddamn, down bad. You know what I'm saying? But I will admit certain good points. But it's like, especially this Andrew Tate guy. This guy is like a human trafficker. You guys know about this? I had no idea, and then I watched Danny's video on it. Danny Gonzalez, go subscribe to him. He's a sweetheart. And he was saying like how he had these cam girls and like basically trafficked them. Well, I know that's a very tough word, but it's also like that's essentially what he did. Like he had these cam girls and he'd make them fall in love with him and then sort of use them for content, like making money off of on the internet. And he tells people he took 75% and gave them 25%. Like, and he's proud of it. He's like telling, it's like me going out and like killing a dog and telling people it's like, yes, I killed this dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, this was me. It was me who did it. I know, guys. I'm basically a saint. And it's like, what is going on? This dude is like, he's not just a bad person like, you know, like these pranksters used to be in like 2012. Like, this guy's a monster. And like, and I saw like one thing I was really disappointed by was that Tom Segura, your mom's podcast, and they were kind of like talking to him like he knew who he was talking about, like he wasn't a scumbag. I'd love to see like fucking Joe Rogan go on that, cause he's not gonna take any of that shit. He'll call his ass out on the spot. But like, this is so dumb. Like, I understand if you're like a man and single and life's not going well, and it's sort of comforting to listen to those things, especially when there's certain, what do you call it, certain good points that they have and certain issues that they bring up, and I do understand. So I understand it can be very easy to get into, because but I wouldn't say like don't have these two-sided battles, like either you're on this sort of alpha male podcast size to, or you're absolute liberal giga whatever. You don't need to be like that. Just be a human being. Like, you don't need to choose sides. I know it's easy to do that, but that's what I always try to tell people. But I I think what's important is being able to communicate with other people, and I know that seems tough because it's tough to find people you trust and you can tell people without. I guess that's why how relationships work, but maybe then you'll figure out they don't like you or some shit, or like, but hey, that's just life. We all go through it, man. I think we just need to, because obviously I don't know how to solve crap, but would be nice if you just talked about these things. I am trying to get my freaking. I got my housing reservation for SCAD, and I want to really go up there and look at the views and things. But another time, well, I suppose I'm in love with someone and I don't want to leave them. But the problem is they don't like me back, and uh, obviously I don't talk about this all the time, but it's we'll see how the future goes, but this isn't really working out, I guess. But those. Alright, guys. I'm out here fucking up, anyways. So I heard, I don't know, I'm pretty sure pretty much everybody's heard of this guy. This guy, Andrew Tate. I mean, he's like on everybody's recommendations. Like, so at first, I pretty much had the same reaction as most everybody. You know, like this obviously misogynistic dude who's just like, you know, losing his mind. So weird. And he's making all these terrible, terrible takes. I mean, you've seen him. And not only that, I saw Danny's video on it, and apparently he was freaking exploiting women like cam girls or something, running like sex trafficking almost. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, this guy's just, what the fuck? You know what I mean? And I was just freaked out. I thought this guy was just a hustler trying to, you know, dupe, you know, vulnerable men into, because he makes certain, you know, decent points. But like recently, he's just been on like a hot take rant. Like he's been just saying like the worst shit. And like low key, it's hilarious. It's so funny, dude. The things he says. It's like, and just the cadence of how he says it. Like it's pretty obvious that's his goal, is to, you know, get a reaction out of people and like honestly be hilarious. But like, dude, it's like a lot of people just pretty much got it, and we're just laughing because it's fucking hilarious, honestly. But like, I'm not saying he's a good guy or anything. That's not my point. It's just, you know, I'm just saying like, I really don't know what I'm saying, but it is kind of weird seeing that. But I don't know. I'm not saying anything. I definitely still don't think like this guy is good. I understand certain points. I make the same exact points about, you know, because I support or stand for, you know, men's struggles. Obviously, stand for humanity's struggles first of all. But I know that certain things don't get talked about it because, you know, men, society tends to not care about men. Anyways, I don't want to get too into that because, you know, I don't think I have enough things to say or make some sort of a good or judgment on something so serious. So I'll just try to, you know, move on. But I was, you know, I'm a big podcast fan, obviously. So, you know, recently, you know, the drama with Tiger Belly versus Brendan Schaub, really. Well, I mean, honestly, I don't know how to say her name. Quila, that's how you say her name, right? I apologize. I'm not trying to be like a dickhead, trying to say your name wrong. I just don't know how to say it. I don't watch, you know, Tiger Belly or listen to Tiger Belly. I really don't know any of these people. I mean, like, I don't listen to them. I only watch, listen to Tim Dillon, Ray Kump, Joe Rogan, Joe Diaz. You know what I mean? And sometimes Theo Von. I even watch Theo Von on when he's on like Joe Rogan or like Joe Diaz or something. I don't watch him like on his own shows that he has with the other people. So that's why I'm not trying to be rude and trying to pronounce their name wrong. I'm just trying to, you know, like I'm not that familiar with these people. You know what I mean? But basically, what happened was that's how you know it's gonna be a good story. You know what I mean? That so Koila, I think she has like a bunch of podcasts apart. She has is one with these these two comedian women, I think, and these three women. I forget what it's called. It's something. There's some podcast, you know. There's a billion of them. But so they were talking about this comedian guy who hit on one of the co-hosts, this blonde woman, and basically saying like how he was being hella creepy and shit. And they essentially alluded to the fact that it was Brendan Schaub because they're saying like unfunny comedian. You know the jokes people make about Brendan. I tend to not do that. You know, not because I respect him, because I don't. I just more of like I just don't care. You know what I mean? Like he's not like a moron, but hilarious like Tito Ortiz or something. Like I like Tito. You know what I mean? He's a goofball, but he's so likable. You know what I mean? He's not like a. I don't want to compare him to Paulo Costa because Paulo Costa is a fucking comedic genius. He's just a genius of a person, man. He's great. I love Paulo Costa. But Brendan Schaub is more just a scumbag, you know what I mean? But it's like, there's so many of them. It's like, you're not fucking Hitler. I don't care. You know what I mean? So, and Brendan obviously felt like attacked because he denied all these accusations. Like, they're basically saying, like, this person, they don't name him, but they try to allude that it was Brendan with like hints, and like this comedian basically asked her to get in his truck and obviously do the deed. You know what I mean? I wouldn't know what it is. I'm a Buddhist. Got it. Sagarta would be mad. So, and they were basically making fun and saying it was like, what a scumbag, right? And this obviously gets back to him and Brendan. The internet isn't very kind to Brendan, if you, I mean, because most of us, he's very easy to make fun of, I guess, but on his Reddit, but that's almost a normality for him. He pretty much gets harassed online a lot, and I'm not saying that's okay or anything. And a lot of it was on Reddit, and it was pretty serious, like threats and things like that. You know how the internet is; it gets a little spicy out there. But so even he wasn't like talking about it, whatever. It was, and he basically gets on his Reddit, right? And a lot of this attacks basically was happening on the Fire and the Kid podcast Reddit, and there was apparently, how the internet gets, there was horrible things posted on there, like the abuse of children, things like that, those kinds of awful videos. Oh, gotta get sneeze, fuck. Oh man, it went away, man. I wanted to sneeze so bad. But, and so, Brendan, what he claims is that he hired a team. He keeps referring to them as teams. It was probably, and what they found was that the IP address of the Reddit posts of like these horrible things of child abuse that was being posted on the Fighting the Kids Reddit was traced back to the IP address of Tiger Belly. Now, if that is true, right, and they were, I think that's a criminal offense, right? It has to be, because for fuck's sake. You can't, it's not just like, threats, and not only that, that is highly, highly illegal. You know what I mean? Like, if that is true, this is fucked. Now, the problem is, Brendan just sort of makes these claims. He doesn't really, he keeps saying, my team, found this XYZ, and we're gonna we're going to take legal action, blah, blah, blah. I have all these lawyers, blah, 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 you know what I mean? Now, this gets back to, and when they find this out, like the Tiger Belly podcast IP address is posting, blah, 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 on the Reddit like horrible things, and they found out from their quote unquote team. They obviously the Fighting Kid is hosted by Brian Callen and Brendan Schaub, which most people probably know, but Brendan Schaub and Brian Callen calls Bobby Lee and basically cuss him out, threatening to sue him, claim makes all these claims like, you're a piece of shit, blah blah blah. You can understand. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. So, like I was saying, they call Bobby Lee, which is kind of weird. I understand it's coming from the Tiger in the Belly podcast, and Bobby is obviously on the top of that, but it's more of a beef just with Koila and Brendan Schaub, right? And so you'd think they would call her, but I'm sure they did, but like they wanted to, because they felt like their friend, who's Bobby Lee, betrayed him, etc., and they said some terrible, awful things to him. I mean, especially Brian Callen. Now, Brian Callen, we're going to get to that, right? Some horrible things to him, like he's a coward, he's pussy, he needs to grow a spine, what is he doing, why would he do, etc. And if you don't know much about Bobby Lee, he had a awful, awful childhood. He's been through, hell, essentially. So he's a passive person, and he was really, really hurt, and by this coming from people he considered a friend. So, I mean, you can imagine how you would react if something like that if some of your people you consider friends started attacking you from just randomly, and, so it was really tough on Bobby, and he talks about it, and, well, he doesn't talk about it, he basically goes through that, and Brendan Schaub and them talk about taking very serious legal action if Tiger Belly keeps on harassing, quote unquote, or attacking Brendan Schaub and posting all these things and blah blah blah, and the Reddit threads of people threatening Brendan's family, etc. After this happens, I don't know when, but basically Bobby Lee comes out and tells about what happens. I'm not too sure. And essentially Callen comes out and says it was me who was being a dickhead, who was being rude and all these things, assaulting Bobby verbally, and he apologizes, although I'm not saying that makes it okay, by the way. I don't think, especially, and now, and I don't really know whose side to pick or anything, because I really don't understand it that well, but, well, my point is that, yes, so, basically, Callen says he was very angered that someone like Bobby would do something like that, and especially because he doesn't really know Koila that much, but because what the posts were, and they traced it back to Tiger Belly, and so when he saw this, he basically lost his mind, and he says he was wrong. I'm not saying he should have never done something like that in the first place. Obviously, that speaks to Callen's character as a human being, that he would do something like that. Doesn't matter if he apologized. You know what I mean? Someone like, that's, I think, the difference between someone like him and, like, Theo Von, for example. Theo Von would never do something like that, or Tim Dillon, or, there's difference between people, I suppose. But, anyways, this gets pretty heated. Well, I mean, this is honestly so stupid. I mean, I'll get to how Tim Dillon reacts to this. Is obviously great. But they come out, and Brian Callen basically apologizes, but at the same time, rightfully so, Bobby Lee is like, well, I mean, a great dude to apologize. It doesn't matter. Well, the things you said is, I mean, what is a sorry gonna do, right? Very understandable, but honestly, now after all of this, they try to figure things out. Now, what Koala says is that basically, oh, you're saying all these things, that blah blah blah. Where's the proof, right? Where is this team? What EV you have, and how? And Koala claims that this is really about the podcast, the what do you call it, with the three female comedians. I don't think they're all comedians. I don't know how to describe it. Wish I knew the name. I am the most prepared person on the fucking planet. This is the greatest podcast. I saw a clip. Podcast is a scam. This is such a scam. Like, if there's anything that was ever a scam, this has got to be a scam. I mean, for fuck's sake, this is so stupid. But Brendan Schaub basically made everything up just so he can justify him reacting so harshly to what three women were accusing him of, quote unquote, and how the internet basically tore him apart because of that. And he talks about how, his family, he has a dad, he's a dad, he's got kids, and blah blah blah. He's not doing all this nonsense. So, alright, I mean, that's understandable, but I don't know who did what. And this Brendan Schaub talks about this other thing, is about this open relationship. He basically threatens Bobby Lee and them that, hey, if you don't quit, essentially attacking me, threatening my family, blah blah blah, all the things, I'm gonna expose this little secret about you and tell Joe Rogan, and now Joe didn't do shit, okay? He's just trying to live his life. He's trying to fucking smoke DMT and talk about apes and shit. But obviously, he's such a big personality, and so they try to bring him into anything just so they can, talk about it. But Bobby Lee, now I just kind of feel bad for him. But at the same time, you're a grown-ass man. I understand victims of manipulation, and if you love someone and care about them, it's hard to notice their, what do you call it, flaws and things. It's hard to, and it's very easy to forgive them. I understand all of those things. I'm not, trying to bash Bobby Lee for being a victim. But at the same time, you're going to have to help yourself. No one else will. You know what I mean? So, basically, Bobby Lee and Koala have an open relationship, and Brendan Schaub knows about this, and a lot of few people in their circle knew about this, right? And essentially, Bobby Lee is being portrayed as a cuck, and Koala is making taking advantage of him, which is very much true. And basically she's got a little side link. Wait, side link? What the fuck does that mean? Sneaky link? God damn, I'm gonna kill myself. In Hawaii, who she visits all the time, and pretty much stays in Hawaii for a day or two. And also there's a few females that essentially expose Koala, saying how she told them that she's got a hotel and meet her there, and then when they went there, she wasn't there. She was in another hotel with who. You know what I mean? So, like, this woman is just fucked. You know what I mean? This woman is... Bobby Lee needs to leave her, but I know he's not going to, and it's very, very sad for us looking from the outside. Okay, unfortunately, that's just life, I suppose. I mean, the best we can do is give our opinion, think, he's gonna do whatever. But it's very sad to see someone, such a sweet person like Bobby. I feel like that's how Joe Rogan is reacting to this, and a lot of other people. But we really can't do anything. We can honestly just benefit from talking about it. But at this point, Bobby Lee and Koala goes on the H3 podcast. God, I need to make a video on it. Ethan and Hila, bro, they have fucking goddamn. They used to be my favorite YouTubers, and now they're just, for fuck's sake. Anyways, and they basically just come clean, talk about how she basically convinced him into opening up their relationship, and it's very, very sad to see because you can clearly see what is going on from the outside, and it's a terrible thing. And a lot of people say, oh, their life, they can do whatever. Yeah, very much true, but it's also, you can recognize manipulation and terrible relationship that they have going on. So, anyways, they basically break it down how they broke up and they're really struggling, and they're doing. Bobby was on drugs, and but now that they basically cancel that, they don't do that anymore, and trying to get that whatever Brendan claims is all false, etc. But then they get Brendan Schaub on the podcast, and on their own podcast, and they basically talk about everything that's going on and blah blah blah, and each side is claiming the other side is lying and all this, what most people would say. But that's basically the situation, and I would just want to say there's really my take doesn't matter. I know, but it's pretty much the only person, rightfully so, that had a good take on this was Tim Dillon, who essentially said these are millionaires screaming at each other like high schoolers about dumb shit where there's people who can't pay their rent and who are basically homeless. So fuck this, don't worry about this is stupid and gay. So dude's a genius. Obviously, man's a national treasure. A part of me does think that, but also a part of me just feels bad for, I love Joe Rogan. Just more like Joe Rogan sort of has, such various, I'm saying, his close friends. I'm not just saying everybody that goes on his podcast. His really close friends, essentially, the comedians and, MMA people. He has, this masterpiece of friends that I consider, or Joey Diaz, Tim Dillon, Theo Vaughn, Tom Segura, who are just Bill Burr, who are just magnificent people. Then he also has friends like Ari Shaffir, who's just fucking scum of the earth. If you listen, I can't get into that, but shut up, alright? And then Brendan Schaub, people like Brian Callen, it's these guys are just fucks, you know what I mean? I'm so good at talking, dude. This is great. Just feel bad, I'm sure Bobby's not gonna leave her. She's gonna stay and blah blah blah, and manipulate her way into winning, and it's just so stupid. But it's a little sad. What are you gonna do? Talking about MMA, literally, yesterday, Yuri Prohaska beat Glover Teixeira. Now, this was a scenario that pretty much almost everybody didn't want either guys to lose because they're so likable and such amazing martial artists. So it was, but it was a crazy fight. It was, Glover looked like he was winning.
a lot, but then Yuri came back with an incredible submission. Yuri's, I think, my craziest thing Yuri's does were those body kicks. Those body shots were ridiculous. But Glover, man, what a fucking legend. At 42, he just took him like a badass, and he just kept going. He really is an inspiration. There's very few people like Glover. I would say, obviously, Randy Couture, badass. Jose Aldo, badass. Anderson Silva, Glover. Like, these guys are just like, what a fucking legend, you know? Honestly, I did want Glover to win. I do love Yuri. He's great. But the thing was, like, Yuri is so young. He was obviously going to be champion. It just makes sense. He's an incredible fighter. Even if he lost that fight, it really wouldn't matter that much to Yuri. Like, he would still definitely become champion in the future, right? Like, he didn't. Obviously, it's great that he won, right? And it's great that he won so quickly. That in like 2 fights he became champion, right? But for Glover, that, you know, at 42, comebacks, chokes out Jan Blachowicz, this monster, you know, becomes champion of one of the, well, I guess historically it's one of the craziest divisions. You know, people like Rampage and, you know, well, a lot of them were Pride fighters, but a bunch of killers. It's just a truly inspirational story, and I honestly did want him to win, because I think, you know, not only did he win, he also defended at 42 against a murderer like Yuri Prohaska. I think that would have been an amazing story. It already is an amazing story that he won, and that's incredible. But, you know, don't feel too bad. He still became champion. You're a legend, man. Love you, Glover. But the other 2 fights, Valentina Shevchenko versus Santos, honestly, that was probably, out of the main fights, that one was my least favorite. I'm just, you know, I really don't know that much about, well, I just don't watch Valentina that much, you know. Out of the women division, I mainly watch the flyweights. So, the 115, it was the greatest women fight, was the first one. Zhang Wei Li versus Joanna Jędrzejczyk. It was an incredible fight. I mean, it was absurd. It's like Gagey versus Chandler. So these top 2 demons from hell just killed it, and obviously Joanna has been through some wars and freaking battles, man. And all those years, she's 35, I believe, so it was really sad to see, but she has nothing to be ashamed of. She's a champion. She's an incredible fighter. I mean, if you've seen her fight, you can understand how badass she is. She's incredible. It is obviously sad to see her, you know, get knocked out and all that thing, but she did amazing things. We're all very proud of her, and you know, take her rest. You know, the fans still love her. We'll still follow her. She did incredible things. Nothing to be ashamed of. Yeah, but that's really about it. I don't know what else to really comment on. I think I'm going to finish this one up here. Thank you for listening, if anyone is listening. That's pretty stupid. But I'll see you next time.